It's a good shirt.
Is it? I think it's my wife's shirt. I don't know. It's got some of the thread is glittery.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a win.
fancy, fancy.
It's me. It's
Hey.
the actual human. I'd like to hear what the shirts have to say on this one. Shirts? Nothing.
Insightful.
I know. Shirts?
Hanging on by
Can't,
a thread.
can't win. These guys.
Welcome back, everybody. We are up position. You are dominating together. We are on the quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Dana?
So good, man. I'm thinking Dynasty Domination, and I'm thinking man, I had the 1-1 in one of my drafts, so I guess that's still in the works. Here for it. It's the off season. You put in the work now, it's going to pay off in the postseason.
It
So
should.
I'm feeling it. Don't take weeks off
Good.
and ramping up, getting the courage to win it all this year in all of my leagues. So I'm
Hell
sorry,
yeah.
everybody else. How about you, Christian? What's up, man?
I'm good. I have set myself up to compete, I think, in every league. For the belt, obviously the main one, that championship still eludes me. That is probably my most volatile team. I could see it going either way, really bad or really good. So we'll see what happens there. But my other ones I feel pretty good about. And just excited to get this rolling. Want to do my redrafts coming up, gonna do a big draft party at my new house. It's gonna be fun. So I'm excited, just time moving a little slow. Want to get to football, but other than that, can't complain, man. But you're not here and nobody's here to listen to me talk about some nonsense. They're here to hear about some running backs.
Oh,
So if you've been listening to us, you know we are doing the position group breakdowns for all the teams, NFC and AFC separated, and we are finally here at my favorite position. I think yours is up there as well, but I love the running back talk. I obviously, if you listen, you know I do the whole running back thing every year, which we're going to lead into that. But for now, we're going to do the rankings. So we're going to start from 16 to 1 and rank the running back groups of the NFC. So that's enough of my voice. How about we kick it to you? And who do you got at 16?
oh, 16. I have had three different players
Hmm.
in the 16 spot over the past 48 hours. And I landed on one that I don't know if we're going to get a lot of agreement here.
Oh, geez.
Uh-oh. I know. I really wanted to put a certain player in this spot, but then I dug into the stats and I couldn't put him there. So I'm putting the Carolina Panthers.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
got
Go ahead.
it's just Chuba.
Yeah. Damn.
Where do you got him at, dude?
I
Let's
got him
start there.
I got the Panthers at 14. So
$14.
I'm not that much different than you. But yeah, why do you got him at 16?
Okay, for me, there's obviously we all know what happened last year.
Hmm.
He didn't play a full year, but it really wasn't impressive, especially down the stretch. Enrico pretty much put him in as like fully a non-factor.
Hmm.
So that obviously that goes away. Rico's in Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of conversations going on with Jonathan Brooks and what that might mean for him. But just looking at the statistics, last year was really a bad year for him, 3.8 yards per carry. I'm looking at the yards after contact for him per attempt, and it was
Hmm.
2.39, which of the running backs in the NFC is tied for worst, like right there with Devin Singletary.
Woof.
Yeah, who had similar amount of carries and yards per attempt. So it's just hard for me to get super excited about it. I want to say the Panthers are going to give him more scoring opportunities. But really, he had that awesome year in 2024 when he had,
Mhm.
about 1,200 yards on 250 carries and he had 10 scores. And I would love it if he just did that in and out, but it doesn't really seem like that's where we're headed with this. And I do think if we see a healthy Jonathan Brooks, we're going to see a lot of him.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, this is kind of just a tough backfield for me to project anything really great out of. So he just got to the last spot. He doesn't do enough receiving work.
Mhm.
His efficiency is down, and the team itself doesn't inspire me for scoring opportunities for the running back. So that's it. I mean, it's kind of a weird one, but he landed last in my final revision.
That's fair. Can't argue with anything you said. If this was the Hope rankings,
Yeah,
Chuba might be number one for
yeah,
me. I've
sure.
I've got him on 75% of my dynasty rosters. So I
Oh,
really need him to show out. Uh, Obviously, like you said, they let Rico Dowdle walk. The only new addition to the running back room is AJ Dillon, but you could argue that like Jonathan Brooks is a new addition, and he's still really young, so that is coming. Um, and you want to say like, oh, he has a chance, but Chuba really did do so poorly after starting out weeks 1 to 3. He looked good. He looked like he did in 2024, and then it just kind of fell off the wheels fell off. It was injury stuff he dealt with. That didn't help, but then Rico Dowdle just came in and took his job. So he only went over 10 points in a game one time after week 3. So that's not great. And then, like I said, Jonathan Brooks is potentially fully healthy finally, and he's still really young. So I do think the plan is to convert to Brooks at some point, but I also think the smart play for the Panthers is to do that slowly. I mean, this is a guy who has tore his knee in back-to-back years, the same knee. You don't want to rush him out there when you do have Chuba who can be serviceable for you. But I think that leash for Chuba is really short. If he stumbles out the gate, it may just force the Panthers' hand. So to me, I kind of agree with you. The long and short of it is, uh, despite Chuba Hubbard having a good year in 2024, like the top season for him, it was RB 14, and that's like best case scenario, so even that is like decent RB2 status. And I think like earlier in the year you might be able to rely on Chuba to be like a pretty good 3. Maybe if he gets back to like 2024 status, he could be like a low end RB2 for you. But Brooks is coming at some point. The reason I don't have them at 16 is I think as a unit they'll be both serviceable just in different parts of the year. I think they'll likely kind of eat each other's production at different times, and it'll be hard to determine who to start, like kind of in the middle of the year. I feel like the early year will be Chuba, kind of middle muddy for a few weeks in the middle of the year, and then I think Brooks will take over. So if you were to have both these guys, I think as a unit, the Panthers are room isn't that bad. I expect the Panthers to be okay, and score a little bit more, as opposed to who I have at 16, which I'll just go into that. I have the Washington Commanders RB room at 16. There's 3 of them, first of all, which doesn't help. 3 guys that I think can be usable for the Commanders. To me, it was like this was the obvious one from the get-go for me. I mean, who the hell knows by the end of the year who's going to be the starter out of these 3 guys? I mean, Jacory Krosky Merritt led the Commanders last season in carries, but I find it hard to believe he will do that again. I think he can, but the Commanders went out and they signed Rashad White, so they're clearly looking to bolster their pass catching game out of the backfield because I mean JCM only had 13 targets last season. 31 went to Jeremy McNichols, so like he was already being pulled out on passing downs. So they replaced that by White, who I think is an upgrade over McNichols. Maybe not a huge upgrade, but White's a good pass catching running back, and I think he fits in this offense. And then Katron Allen comes in as another late round running back, but JCM was a seventh rounder, and it's not like he broke the world or did anything crazy last season. So if Allen shows promise at all, it's clear the Commanders are fine using these late round draft picks as the starters in their room. I know we all got excited about JCM, but he kind of was just fine. Like he had a few good weeks, and then for the most part, it was just whatever. So to me, it's too many questions. I'm not sure who is going to take the huge lead role. Actually, I don't think anybody will take a huge lead role, but I can't even decide who by the end of the year is going to have this clearly split backfield. And then you got to worry about Jaden Daniels taking some rushing touchdowns away in the red zone. So just to me, it's a no thank you. I don't really want any of these guys. If I had to pick, I'd take Rashad White if it's PPR and then JCM as a bench play if it's standard. But yeah, I don't really like it. I think they're gonna use these guys as a committee and just find the best option out of them on a weekly basis, and then use Jaden Daniels quite a bit as well. So,
Yeah, I started with Bill at very last place,
mm,
and I really wanted to keep him there. And through the process, I gave him a little bit of a bump.
mm,
Um, yeah, it's hard for me to really rally behind him, but getting into the some of the like the yards after contact stuff, he had a pretty good year at 3.68. That's second in the
yeah,
NFC behind Bijan. Um,
wow,
but then like third is Chris Rodriguez Jr. So it's like, what are we doing here? But he was doing some good missed tackles for us, but he was kind of very up and down.
hmm
8 touchdowns on that workload isn't really something we could expect him to continue on, especially like you're saying with Daniels back in there. So I respect it at 16. I just was trying to turn down the haterade for this episode, and it happened here. Yeah, he was like the first person I ranked dead last, and then
gotcha.
got into a few things and let up a little bit. But I do think White's going to take on some receiving roles, and I think
Hmm
he is going to probably stand out to be a nice
Yeah.
addition to this backfield and create some competition there. So
Where did they end up then?
14.
14. Okay. Oh, so we just switched 14 and 16 then.
Yep. Do we have the same 15 though? Like
Let's
here we
see.
go, I guess it's to me.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I've got I hate to say it, I got Aaron Jones right here
So do I.
with the Vikings.
What
Yeah,
have they
it's
done to my boy?
I know, dude. It really really kills me.
Yeah.
Um but I dude's 31, man,
Yeah.
and
Hmm
I know he missed a little bit of time last year, but in the points per game rank, he was 33rd.
hmm
He's got like the one hot thing is he was averaging 3.4 targets per game, which is
hmm
like that puts him in the upper half or a
hmm
little juicier spot. But then they take Devon Claiborne. I think he's going to get some of those targets. And Jordan Mason really hit that workload split hard,
hmm
even when Jones was healthy. And that's it. I mean, it's the thought that this is obviously going to be a pass first offense. You have
hmm
Kyler coming in, who has some rushing touchdown upside, a little bit of scrambling ability. You got a kind of a changing of the guard. I'm not a huge Jordan Mason fan, but I think that kind of like they've been trying to do with quarterback, like if they can get a running back in there that fits the system, I think Jordan Mason could probably take over the 1A role here. But I really look for Aaron Jones to be, the more uh, I don't know, appealing option
hmm
out the gate, and it's a matter of he can keep the longevity going and not get rolled by Claiborne and that workload split of Masons going away from him. So that's it. It's just a foggy, and he's in
Yeah.
age and the Kyler thing. I don't think that they're going to prioritize him as a role player, and
hmm
it's going to impact his value.
Yeah. The the hope, and if you have him and you're trying to start him, the hope is that a more complete offense with a better quarterback can kind of help open up the running game. Because I do think a lot of it went to, oh, nine is the starting quarterback, so let's just fill the box and dare them to throw the ball on us. And that's never been Aaron Jones' forte. Like even when he was at the top of his powers, he was benefiting a lot from the fact that the Packers offense was so good and you had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the field. So that helped him out a lot and got him into space, which is where he is really, really good and takes off. So if that were to happen, maybe, but I mean, like you said, he's 31, injury plagued last season, finished 33rd in points per game, like you pointed out. Jordan Mason was 45th in points per game. So they both were just having a hard time. I mean, the Vikings in general were having a hard time running the ball. They were
Sure.
27th in rushing attempts, 23rd in yards, and 18th in touchdowns. And they didn't really change the backfield. So I do think, I mean, obviously, like you said, they brought in Claiborne. We'll see what happens with him. He could end up kind of sliding into a role there. But I think they are kind of relying on, okay, we have a better quarterback. This offense is just going to be better overall, and that'll help the running game. And we'll see. But it's hard to rank him any higher than this. This is likely one of his last seasons. So I'd love to see him get back. I mean, he had 4 straight years of top 10 RB work. Then he got injured his last year in Green Bay, really like kind of in and out, and then decent first year in Minnesota. So I'd love to see him end it as even just a top 20 RB. That'd be like just to go out as like a serviceable RB2. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm skeptical. It's hard to buy in, but I do think there is hope. Like if the offense is better and he just gets a little more open field in front of him, but that's a fool's hope potentially.
Definitely not an optimistic, promising thing to expect.
No, not at
Whatever
all.
at this
But all
point.
right. So Panthers were my 14, Commanders were your 14. So I will jump up to 13. And this one may be shocking. I'm not sure. We'll see where you stand on it. But I actually have the Saints here at 13.
Oh, okay.
Um, Travis Achan and Alvin Kamara. Obviously Achan was pretty good last season. He comes home to the Bayou. He was RB 14 in points per game on the year. But he's moving over to the Saints, and this is kind of my problem. Like, I know that for whatever reason, the Saints are like a lot of people's offseason darlings. They really like this Saints team. I'm pretty skeptical still. Like, I'm not really sold on that. I mean, we literally just watched CJ Stroud look like the next great rookie sensation quarterback and then just kind of fall off the earth for his next few years. But somehow we all think Tyler Shuck is definitely going to be good in year two, and that he's not going to get hurt and that his age isn't going to come into a factor, or we haven't seen his ceiling. Obviously, like all of that can work and like maybe it will happen, but like that's not guaranteed. And then you look at the Saints as a unit, they were 23rd in rushing attempts, they were 28th in rushing yards, they were 27th in rushing touchdowns. The Saints ranked second to last according to PFF in run blocking grade, and they're bringing back basically the same offensive line. Like they didn't make that many huge changes really at all. And to me, like when I think about Travis Achan, is that a guy who you think, oh, he can overcome a bad offensive line? Is it that like 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't this the guy that everyone wanted to write off the face of the planet for that exact reason? Because he couldn't do anything behind the Jags offensive line. And now he's going to come over to New Orleans and absolutely crush it. I don't buy it. My gut says no. And then Kamara just reworked a deal. He's still going to be there. He's not going to be the guy. He's obviously going to be the backup to Achan here, but I do think he's there to catch passes. He's always been phenomenal at that. So like you to me, I can't even sell myself on Travis Achan becoming like a PPR guy in this offense because I think some of that, at least some of it's going to go to Kamara. So to me, like I had a really hard time getting excited about the Saints here. To me, like if I had Achan and somebody wanted him, I'd sell him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. On the selling him right now, I've the Saints at 10,
Okay.
so a
I
few
thought we might
spots.
be off on that, but not too bad.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, it's because Kamara's getting old, right? He's what, 29, 30. He's 30 years old. And I think that the Saints have wanted a bruiser for a while, and
Hmm.
they've tried a few things. And you've got, Travis Etienne here coming off of a 260 carry season.
Hmm.
And you're right, Kamara's going to have plenty of receiving work. And, I don't know if Shuck's going to be awesome. Obviously, you got Olave, which is nice, and Jordan Tyson, which is enticing. But I think the difference between Shuck and Stroud in that situation is that the defense in Houston was keeping that team afloat, and so
Hmm.
they were being careful. I don't think the Saints are going to be careful. I think
That's
they're going
fair.
to get some garbage time. I think you're going to get some production out of desperation
Mm.
more than you would have. Not saying that Shuck's going to deliver on the hype and that this team is in the upward direction, but I think adding a top 10 wide receiver and one of the top free agent running backs is going to put them in a position where they need to just throw some logs on that fire. So I could just see him just being just buried in workload. Um, I think there's plenty to go around between him and Kamara, and this team's just going to be a little streamlined between the big two wide receivers and then the Etchen thing. So I don't
Okay.
know. I'm a little optimistic, but he really impressed me last year. After I've been down on him like forever,
Yeah.
so it kind of just made me think twice about him, and he got the prove me wrong bump on this ranking.
Fair enough. See, I did have him higher initially on my first rankings, but I ended up yeah, I couldn't I got pessimistic on it. So we'll see who's right. You have him at 10.
Yep.
I got him at 13. So who do you have at 13?
For me, I've got the Bears.
Okay. Weird. I have them at 10.
Okay, well, here's the switcheroo. I like that. Um, yeah, this one is really interesting for me. They were fifth in attempts
Hmm.
in the whole league last year,
Hmm.
and Swift. I guess I'm putting Swift as the
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 guy.
number one guy here.
Yeah.
17th in points per game. And honestly, the thing with him and Mononga is they're like surprisingly interchangeable in their
Hmm.
roles.
Yeah.
Swift has like an elusiveness that Mononga doesn't necessarily have, but maybe he'll take a leap in the second year. I do think Mononga has more like physicality and maybe some more power that he
Oh
can
yeah,
lean into.
for sure.
But like efficiency and like utilization and size wise, I think they fit the playbook in a way that's going to really make it anyone's bet on who's going to take the lead here. There's no elite usage for either player in my forecast.
Hmm.
So that's holding them back. I think
Yeah.
that the chance to be like, I don't know, they say 1A, 1B, but like I don't know what they say 1-1. Like this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it was his best year statistically as a rusher, and he maintained his abilities as a pass catcher. 10 total touchdowns. I feel like that's consistent coming out this year, and it's going to be clean. But RB 15 in a world where old Monongai was nipping at his heels at the RB 30 after a very slow start
Hmm.
and then ramping up and really having some pop games and sustaining a workload going down the stretch. I just think if you get them right where they left off, which is kind of what I'm anticipating, and a little bit of a shuffling out of the wide receiver room to see what's really happening. Sleeper has Luther Burden as the wide receiver one on this offense.
Jeez.
And that's extremely unproven with Khalif Raymond as a wide receiver three. So there's a big chance for Colson Loveland and like Odunze and Burden to all kind of get elevated, where the foundation of this team being the running game with these two handing the workload back and forth just makes it inconsistent but optimistic as far as how it's going to shake out. And it's really just them, twinning up the board that makes me hesitate to get overly excited about either of them, just because
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to be very predictable on who is going to pop week to week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's why they're not higher for me, which I have them at 10 because I do think they'll both be usable.
Right.
And like I said, going into this exercise, like I kind of ding the guys that don't have as clear of a starter, but they get a little pop for me because they both, I think, will end up being serviceable. I mean, Swift was the RB 17 in points per game, while Monangai was the RB 38. But like you said, that's a slow start, and he really popped at the end of the year there. But the Bears as a whole were really awesome on the ground last year. I mean, they ranked fifth
Yeah.
in run blocking grade per PFF. They were the third overall offensive line per PFF. They ranked fifth in attempts, like you said. They ranked third in yards, ninth in touchdowns, and third in yards per attempt. And I don't see any reason why that rushing success won't continue. I mean, you got Ben Johnson there who did the same thing in Detroit and use both. I mean, there were times where you could absolutely use Gibbs and Montgomery at the same time in the same weeks. Like clearly Montgomery was the touchdown dependent lesser of the two. And obviously Swift and Monangai, neither one of them are as good as those other two players, but I don't see why that same structure wouldn't stay. So I think you can use them both. And honestly, if there was a clear lead dog in this room, I probably have him like top four. Like
Yeah.
they were just
No, the
so,
offense is incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were so efficient on the ground. So it'd be hard to not have them that high. So that's why I have him at 10, is just because I genuinely think, yes, it'll be hard to know week to week, but I honestly, in deeper leagues, like your two flex leagues or whatever, I think you could probably throw both of them in. Like, and just maybe not on the same team, but like two different teams could use both these guys and get a serviceable score out of them most weeks. So that's why I had them a little higher than 13. I think they're pretty usable. So I'll go to 12. Um, this okay. We started out this a few weeks ago by saying Dynasty would weigh into it, and I found out that like I don't really do that. Apparently, I have
Yeah.
not. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So like that really didn't factor as much as I thought it would be. It kind of became like, oh, how do I feel about this year and this season? It just made sense more structurally for the notes,
Yep.
and I kind of just started running that. I say that because I have the Cardinals at 12. And whoa, 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 put down your pitchforks. I love me some Jeremiah Love. Don't get it twisted. I think he will be incredible. But the problem is the Cardinals are gonna be really bad. Like really bad. Like top three NFL draft pick bad. And I doubt if I was running a team, would I want to waste my young superstar running back that I just took fourth overall on a bad season and potentially waste him or get him hurt or run him into the ground when you know you want to stink and you know you want a quarterback in the next draft? I could just see that logic getting in the way and them just rotating these guys a lot. I think that's why they didn't let go of James Conner. I think that's why they still have Trey Benson and they signed Tyler Algier, who let's not all forget that he kind of put a ceiling on Bijan Robinson's rookie year. Now, Bijan Robinson still had a great year, so Jeremiah Love could do the exact same thing, but I do think the Falcons were better that year than the Cardinals are going to be this year. So I do think by the end of the year, Love is just so talented that it's going to be hard to keep him off the field because they also want to get their fans excited about something. But I just think it might be a slow burn and a little bit frustrating, kind of similar to how the issues with Bijan's rookie season and to a lesser extent Ashton Genty's rookie season, like it kind of both those guys had good years, but I just think that Love won't be the 100% starter at first. I mean, I could end up being wrong. I just have a gut feeling that they're just going to kind of slow burn this. And I think it'll be frustrating. His upside is going to be capped due to the team around him. But all that said, if he does just come out as the week one starter and they want to use him in a similar way, like he could end up being top 15. But I just think the team around him is gonna cap him. But future wise, love it. Trade all your picks, go get the number one pick. I that's what I did in the only league I could. But I had a hard time ranking them as a whole any higher.
Oh, well, I did not, personally. I have them at 9.
Okay.
So, no, it's like this is a very tricky section.
Hmm.
Um, in my opinion, in my defense, I do think I should have the Bears higher, but for me, I think that yeah, James Conner is gonna have something of a role.
Hmm.
But and then Algier is a huge. I don't think that we have to worry about Trey Benson.
No, probably not.
Uh, but no, what you're saying is true. Whatever he is right now, 12, 9. Next year, he's probably going to be, top 5 in the same conversation,
Yeah.
expecting a big bump. It's kind of shades of like Josh Jacobs' rookie year
Mm-hmm.
type situation. And I think that, yeah, we're going to probably see what he's got, but we're not going to see a ton of it. I just
Yeah.
think, I think that the name, the draft capital, and the future impacted my rankings on this one.
Hmm.
And he got up there to 9.
I
I have
mean,
no idea what to say. Like I don't know what's going on with Jacoby Brissett. Still a contract dispute. So
oh, he reported at least though.
yeah,
So,
he's working out. He's working out. So
uh,
he's thinking about it. But
no,
yeah,
this
it's a lot of unknown.
this one I could definitely see burning me if they're just like, we need people to be excited. Let's run Jeremiah Love into the ground and just show off how talented he is. I think he could end up being really high up there. I just worry about how bad they are and them splitting time. So, but
Yeah.
I feel you. I probably should have had him higher. But who do you have at 12 then?
Who do I have at 12? I've got this is tough. I got Jadarian Price right
Oh,
there.
okay. I have him at 11.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
tough, so tough. It's difficult. And the difficult part is knowing like what is Zach Charbonnet's
Hmm.
role when he gets back. I mean, I know we have, a January ACL tear. That's going to be huge. I don't think we're going to see him, right? Like maybe even the first half of the year.
Hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of work going to Price. I think Price is going to be decent, but I wasn't super pumped about him coming out of his college career. So this landing spot is the excitement for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
They ranked third in rush attempts. We've talked about this team quite a bit in our other exercises, be it quarterback or wide receiver or even tight end.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of weapons. Like they just won the Super Bowl and lost Kenneth Walker. They have to keep that identity on the ground going in order to be successful. JSN can't do it all. He totally can, but like they can't repeat the success that they had.
Yeah.
Just expecting Sam Darnold to light it up through the air. So they're going to need Price to be pretty badass, and I think he will be. But
Hmm.
I think we're bumping up against a couple of like locked in badasses as we go up this list. I
Yeah.
could have maybe put him 1 or 2 spots higher than this. But in my opinion, I think this is where he belongs, and I do think it's no regardless of the success he has, if Zach Charbonnet was, eating up massive amounts of red zone work and touches with Kenneth Walker in the backfield with him, he's 100% gonna, take on whatever he can handle whenever he returns and taper off Price's trajectory as the year goes on.
Yeah, I'm with you. Both I switched the Seahawks and the Cardinals a bunch of times back and forth. And honestly I had both those teams higher too. But like you said, there's just some guys. Like again, they're the top eight for me are mostly pure like RB1, like they're the only guy in their backfield type guys. So any of these
Yeah.
guys split in time. And I think people are underrating how much impact Emmanuel Wilson's going to have at the beginning of the year. I just don't see the Seahawks turning the keys entirely over to Price right off rip. Emmanuel Wilson's a good player, and they signed him for a reason. So they bring him in, and they split the backfield fairly evenly last season between Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, like you mentioned, to the point where both of them had 11.3 points per game exactly. And obviously there were some injuries here and there. Both of them came in and out of the lineup, so like that skews the numbers a little bit. But I basically see Price spending time with Wilson as the lead guy until Charbonnet is back, and then doing the same thing when Charbonnet is there. Like it'll be like a whole season of him splitting with a different guy, where I do think he'll take a brunt of the work. But I just don't see, like I think he's the long-term answer. And the reason I ended up putting the Seahawks above the Cardinals is just because they're so much better than the Cardinals, and they're so much better at running the ball than the Cardinals, and that's like a key to their offense. So if anybody's going to have a chance as a rookie to really break out, it is Price. But I couldn't really buy into it for much longer because I mean it's like a three-headed demon where you're just waiting on one of the heads to wake up halfway through the season.
Exactly. It's kind of a crapshoot, and Price is in a position to be massively successful. But I don't think we can put that on him at this point. He hasn't shown us what that he can handle that.
Yeah, for sure. So 11, that was my 11, and they were your 12, right?
12.
So
Yes.
who do you have at 11?
At 11, I have Bucky Irving.
Okay, I got him at 9. So
Okay.
we're not as far off on this as I thought we were going to be. I really, going into this one, I really thought if there was
No.
any that we would be disagreeing on, it would be the running backs. So
Yeah, our bottom eight matches with some fluctuation.
yeah.
I like it. Dude, I love Bucky. I mean, we
Hmm.
know this. Everybody, we know this. And so this is tough for me because what he did his rookie year was insanity. It
Yeah.
was beautiful, and I look at the PFF breakdowns, and he literally was number one in the NFC for yards after contact per attempt with 4.16. And that's
Yeah.
an insane number. And then he drops down to 2.39 last year.
Hmm.
Obviously, struggled to stay healthy. Didn't really come back as a superstar. Really touchdown dependent after going down after week four. So it's hard for me to project him to be, old form. And
Hmm.
I honestly wouldn't have had a problem with that projection if it hadn't been for the fact that they brought in Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you don't bring the Grim Reaper in here. Um, Gainwell is a guy, I mean, we were hyped about, like
Yeah.
coming out of Memphis. Like
Yeah.
he is a hell of a player. And then he goes to Philadelphia, which I guess you have to be like named Jalen or Saquon or something to get any work around there. Because he went to Pittsburgh last year and just like
Killed it.
usurped the whole team. It was
Yeah.
insane. Like I did not project that
Mm-mm.
much success was possible, but it was efficiency. It
Yeah.
was just durability. It was insane. 85 targets. That's
Hmm.
insane. So he comes to this team, and that was year one. That was a single year showcase with the Steelers. And what's going to stop them from just keeping that going? They brought him in here to be a player. They got rid of a lot of the clutter in the backfield, in my opinion, with White being out of there.
Yeah.
And I think, that 2 years, $14 million is enough of
Yeah.
a vote of confidence for Kenny Gainwell to come in here and do it again. Chip away at what Bucky had. I do think Bucky's going to be electric. He's going to be amazing. He's going to be a ton of fun to watch. But I don't think he's going to get buried in work. He only had 207 carries his rookie year.
Hmm.
Um, if you got a guy that just had 85 targets, like you're really counting on scoring, and I think that that's a little up in the air with this configuration right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got him at 9. I honestly could have had him lower than some of these rookies, and
It's
probably should have
yeah.
been lower than the Bears, honestly.
This
Um,
guy's moved around. He started out like five, and he just kept
It's
falling on
tough. We
me.
love Bucky. So yeah, he ranked 18th in points per game in PPR last league, in PPR leagues last year. And he was dealing with a bunch of injuries all year long, so that's
Yeah.
still pretty impressive. But like you said, they brought in Gainwell, who I would argue is like a similar player.
Yep.
And I think they want to cover for the injury possibility with Bucky, as well as see little drop in production whenever they got to rest Bucky, because he's not a workhorse. As much as we love him, that's just not going to be his bag at the NFL level. He's not big enough. He's a little more fragile than some. So I think they want to slide Gainwell in. And let's honestly, it's going to sound stupid. Let's not forget about Sean Tucker, man. Like when he came
Seven
in,
TDs, baby.
he played really well. So I think you got another three-headed lineup here. And at this point, I don't really trust Bucky's ability to stay healthy. But I do think either one of these two should be good. If they're like whenever they're the starter, say Bucky's out of the lineup and you put Gainwell in or whatever, it's going to be frustrating because I think it's going to be one of those teams where one of those three guys is going to have a good game every week, but good luck figuring out who, especially because they're still a pass first team. They got Baker, they got all those receivers. Like, I think they're going to get opportunities to get points, but it's honestly all three of these guys in best ball. As much as I hate best ball and detest it, I would not mind having any of them in best ball. I think they all are going
For
to have a
sure.
chance. Probably should like honestly, this like you said, this section was tough. I could probably move these guys around. Probably should have had the Bears at 9 and I don't know, whatever. We're playing ifs and buts and whats at that point, but that's where I had him because I just like Bucky and I like the Buccaneers offense at least for scoring
Of
fantasy
course.
points. Yeah, that's where I've got them ranked. So that was your 11, mine 9. Your 10 was the Saints, my 10 was the Bears, your 9
Cardinals.
Cardinals and Bucks. So I'll jump all the way to 8 here. Um and I'm going with this is where we start to get into lead back territory. There's only one guy in the top 8 that I consider not a true like no shit number 1 guy. But at 8, I do have one of those guys. I got Cam Scatabo here. I think a lot of people are going to have Scatabo higher than 8, and maybe I'm being too cautious. He was the RB9 in points per game last season. He did score a total of 6 touchdowns in weeks 2 to 8, which is really good, really consistent. But to me, that seems more fluky. They lost Malik Neighbors. They had to kind of reinvent the offense on the fly because of that. Jackson Dart comes in and they clearly have a connection, which, they are still going to have that connection, presumably. But they did try to reinvent the weapons around Jackson Dart. They bring in Isaiah Likely. They bring in a host of wide receivers that are all below average
Garbage.
to bad, but it just says that, like they at least want to have some competence there. And if Malik Neighbors does come back and he is healthy, then he's going to take a lot of that work. I've been upfront about my skeptical nature regarding the Giants, and I'm not fully on board with what they're doing. And then he did break his leg last year, and he's an older rookie, not super old, but older. And so like there's a chance that he can't hit the ground running from what he did last year. I think his ceiling, great, really on board. He starts this tier to me of guys that you can really trust as an RB. I just like the other guys I have ranked above him right now. I could end up looking dumb on this, but that was just my gut on it, is that I have him at the very bottom of the guys that I think at worst are RB2s and at best can be your RB1 in fantasy.
Yeesh. I gave him a lot more smoke than that.
I
I
thought I thought you might.
yep. I've got him at number 5.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty substantial.
Yeah. And it's because this team has shown you exactly what they're interested in
Hmm.
out of him. And I don't really think we can call any of the new blood a threat to him. Maybe a little bit on the target share with Isaiah Likely, but definitely I actually disagree with that with the exit of Wandale Robinson. I think it's a wash.
Mm,
When Neighbors projected to miss the beginning of the season, now it's looking even more likely that he's going to miss, have a slow start. I think Scadaboo is he's crazy. He led the team in red zone touches last year
hmm.
for the whole season, only playing half of the year.
Yeah.
He was the man. He had 4 targets per game, which is one of 4 guys in this division or in this conference that have that can say that. Um, and that puts him with some big dogs. Not really. The big dogs are like 5.5 and plus,
Yeah.
but it separates him from a little indecisiveness. He is getting work through the air. He's getting work on the ground. He's getting work in the red zone. And the only question is, can he manage his risk exposure in his play style?
Mm,
Because if he can, and he can stay healthy,
yeah.
I think that he's a lightning rod for this team, especially until the uncertainty in the wide receiver room can get a little
Hmm.
bit worked out. Obviously, he gets a huge, down vote by getting a new offensive coordinator in Matt Nagy.
Hmm.
But a lot of Hall of Fame caliber players who have survived him as an offensive coordinator. So
Yeah.
maybe Scadaboo could be the next one.
Potentially, yeah. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I know that I'm going against consensus here, and I get it, but I couldn't get there. But
Yep.
again, I think he's RB
It's
one
really tight.
potential, like
Yeah.
not one overall, but like RB one for your roster potential for sure. But I just these other guys, I guess they've proven it more and aren't really
Mhm.
coming off injuries for me. So.
Yep.
But I hear you. Like it's hard to argue with anything you're saying.
Yeah, my 5 through 8 is a very tight pack.
Yeah.
And so my number 8 is Kyron
Okay.
Williams.
Yep.
And so um I think this one is pretty clear. The Rams were like middle of the pack as far as like rushing numbers
Hmm.
in the league, and then points per game rank. Kyron was 11th, which is respectable. But I think the thing with Kyron, and he probably should be higher, honestly. This is, it's killing me to read my own notes. But after that rookie year where it was kind of a slow start and a little uncertainty, he's put up 255 fantasy points,
Hmm.
272,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
263. And that's not all full years, right?
Yeah.
Those are
Yep.
some missed times in there, but his stats are wildly consistent in terms of like utilization and
Yep.
efficiency. And I know Blake Corum put up a little bit of noise down the stretch, but this is like it feels like it's Kyron's team
Mm.
100%. And the only thing that worries me is the possibility of some touchdowns just being through the air exclusively.
Yeah.
He had 10 on the ground last year, which was great. But I mean, you can't tell me a running back isn't scared of Devontae Adams when it comes to, eating his touchdowns. It's
Yeah.
like 3 yard passes for touchdowns are going to take your 3 yard carries. And it's gonna happen all season. So the rear view is lit up with these pass catchers as far as red zone success goes, and that's why I don't have him any higher, but I do think that he's got a very, very, very high potential as this team looks to just like roll all the way to the postseason.
Yeah, so I have Kyron at 7,
Okay.
so just a step higher. He was right around Javonte Williams and Josh Jacobs, like actually sandwiched in between those guys in terms of points per game. Jacobs at 15.8, Kyron at 15.5, and Javonte at 15.2. So all having really good years. But I actually am a little bit worried about Blake Corum, and I'll tell you why. If I could guarantee that Kyron Williams would have over 70% of the snaps like he did the previous 3 years, I would have him ranked higher, but I can't right now. Kyron Williams dropped from 83% of the snap share in 2024 with 350 touches to, sorry, I got five dogs in my place right now.
Ooh, dog
Um,
pound.
He dropped from 83% of the snap share in 2024 and 350 touches to 67% of the snap share and 295 touches, while Blake Corum went from 10% of the snaps in 2024 and 65 touches to 36% of the snaps and 153 touches. I just think they're getting closer to being even. Kyron has an out in his contract. I think after this year, if not, it's the year after. I know he just signed it, but it just seems to me that they're gonna kind of balance each other out more because Corum arguably looked more explosive last year. Not even arguably, he did look more explosive. Maybe not as consistent as Kyron, but in terms of explosivity, I do think Corum had him beat. And I could see them kind of going for that because they kind of need that in the running back room. They don't, it hasn't been like this boom offense on the ground. It's been all through the air, which it still will be. So to me, like I think this is closer to being split. I do think it's Kyron's backfield, which is why I have him up at 7. I still have him in the tier of guys that can be really, really good for your roster. But I just think Corum really did look good last year, and I just can't move them higher than any of the other guys going forward.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't trust Blake. I don't
Yeah.
trust.
I didn't like him coming out. I was not a Blake fan, but he looked good, and maybe that'll just disappear into the ether and it'll be Kyron's game again. But it got me scared enough to have him at 7 instead of 5.
Yikes. Can I do a callback to earlier in the episode? I just discovered a note that I didn't say out loud.
Sure.
Okay. I have Hubbard as the last on this list because his long run for all of 2025 was 14 yards.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Sorry
What was
about that.
Kyron's?
Kyron, oh, I got you. I got you.
Can't have been much
40.
more.
It was
40?
40.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
40 is pretty
Corum's
good.
was wait, no, 34. 34.
34 for Kyron. That's not bad.
Yep. And Corum
Not
was
amazing.
48. So
Hey.
I know these guys, dude. These guys. This is a telling stat, you know. You got Bill up there with the 72 yarder, you know. Look out for him.
For sure. All right. So who do you have at 7?
At 7, I've got Josh Jacobs.
Okay. I have Jacobs at 5.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
will say Kyron, the guy at 6, and Josh at 5. I rotated those three guys like 5 or 6 different times. I kind of think
Mhm.
they're all in the same boat.
The guy at 5, the guy at 4, the guy at 6. Is that what you're
Guy
saying?
Jacobs at 5,
Uh-huh.
the guy
Kyron.
at 6.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
I
spooky.
think we
Ooh,
all know who you're talking about, but
probably.
no, yeah, these three guys, yeah, that's gridlocked, and like you said, points per game, you know, not giving
Yeah.
away too much. They're lined up, but I think that the rush attempts for the Packers, they had seventh highest, which is a pretty good jump compared to the other team in the Rams, Cowboys. Let's see, but it's a lack of competition and the scoring. You know, the
Yeah.
past 2 years in Green Bay, he had 15 touchdowns and then 13 touchdowns, and the team isn't missing a beat. You know, and it ain't broken, so they're not gonna go out of their way to change the utilization here. I don't know if he's getting 300 attempts like he did in 2024, but I think we saw that they are locked in as him being the lead guy with no competition at all. In my opinion, I don't know how you feel about Marshawn Lloyd or Chris Brooks or any of these guys, but I think he's going to go in there and he's going to roll and he's going to do his job, and they're going to
Yeah.
ask him a lot of them. And I mean, I'm sorry, but the Josh Jacobs conversation to me is the simplest. out of all of these because he just does it and he's continued to do it, and this team knows exactly what they want from him, and he produces it every time. So I don't know. I got him right there at 7. I like that 5. That's a good number. He should be
Yeah.
over Cam Scatterboo. I'll give you that.
Well, so for me, I had him above these other two guys that we've grouped together um, for everything that you said, like the consistency, the workload, and I do hope that the Packers will throw the ball more. I really would love to see Jordan Love be able to open it up, but given LaFleur's track record, even if they do, they're not getting away from running the ball by any means. And like you pointed out, Marshawn Lloyd is like the only threat to Jacobs. And as I still like Lloyd, I think he's a great player, has potential, I guess, to be a great player. He just can't stay on the damn field. And he hasn't earned the trust from the staff yet to really take much of a workload away from Jacob. So obviously, if Jacob's legal situation is all clear, then there's going to be no stopping that production train for him. And I think the big thing of it, look at the red zone touches for Josh Jacobs. It's 64 compared to the number two guy in the Packers offense, which was 26, and that was Emmanuel Wilson. So, so their top two red zone attempt guys, or not even like this is including wide receivers, their top two guys. Maybe I forgot about Tucker Kraft in there actually. So he maybe Wilson maybe three. I might have missed on the tight end room, but definitely in front of the wide receivers. So the top two guys are potentially running backs. So that's where they like to go in the red zone. I kind of hate it. I'd like to see him throw a little more and get these receivers involved, especially if Kraft is healthy. Let's get him involved. But you can't argue Jacobs. I mean, he was the RB10 in terms of points per game, since he dropped from RB6 to RB13 last season. He still was right there in points per game. So I'm with you. That's why I have him above Kyron, and then who we've alluded to a bunch with Javonte Williams at 6 with the
Nice.
Cowboys. Javonte stayed on the Cowboys, which I think was the smart move for him. He had a really good year, and he's going to be on a great offense once again. He was the RB12 with 15.2 points per game. Um, I don't think he'll move much farther than this, which is why obviously I couldn't like rank him higher, but he has all the same advantages as he did last season. Minimal threat behind him, pretty much no threat behind him. And he's on a great offense with distracting passing weapons and a good offensive line. Like there's nothing stopping him from repeating the production. And then they used him in the red zone a lot as well. He had 66 red zone touches compared to George Pickens, who had 23. So like it's hard to deny that Javonte Williams is probably in line for a top 15 RB season.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I This is our first player that we have at the same rank,
Oh, hell yeah.
by the way. I also am at 6. But yeah, if you look at like his red zone rush attempts
No, we had
inside the
Aaron
20,
Jones,
I had
15.
Jones at, oh, yep, there you go. All right,
So
fine.
second player.
Second player. But yeah, Kyron and Williams and Jacobs are all like right at the same number,
Yeah.
145 on the red zone attempts, rushing. They all had 10 to 12 scores in the red zone. Like they all have their role locked down. Like they're playing the role of a non superstar NFL running back, like a plus back that's
Yeah.
not, absolutely
Not a
elite.
true game changer. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing it well. And I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, but when we go to the AFC, it's going to be interesting to see how these
Hmm.
names compare. Um, because it is some solid floor here. Um, Looking at these guys, Javonte, obviously he tapered off a little down the stretch last year, but
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
resurgence he had in Dallas proved it all. Like you're saying, pretty well uncontested in his role here. I don't think Blue's going to get out there and fuck with them too much, but this is it. This is like it's similar to what the Rams are doing in there as far as like a solid wide receiver duo that really allows the running back to punish the defense for trying to spend too much time on the pass game. So nothing's going to slow him down. I think he's going to keep rolling. It's going to be nice, even maybe some room for improvement in the second year with the Cowboys.
Yeah. I could see that maybe a little, but not I don't see him moving much farther up. Sorry, it is hot over here. I'm still in the place with the rough air
Oh,
conditioning. So if
you
you
should
hear the
buy a
fan,
house.
yeah, I'm working on it. If you hear a fan, I apologize to everybody. But no, I'm 100% with you with Javante. I think his floor is really high. I don't think his ceiling is much higher, and which is why I have him around six. So your five was Scattaboo, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so let's move up to four. This is my next tier break. These are the four guys here are true RB1s, potential to be the RB1. And I have at four, I have Christian McCaffrey, and the San Francisco 49ers. He was the RB1 in both points per game and overall. So why is he not higher than four for me? Okay, well, we saw the curse of the high workload mess with Saquon Barkley last season. He went from the RB2 to RB14 after having 378 touches in 2024. Christian McCaffrey had 413 touches last season, but I wouldn't just buy into that. Like, I'm not superstitious. I am a little stitious. But it's not just that, it's that his efficiency dropped off kind of huge. Like, he only had 3.9 yards per attempt, which isn't terrible, but compare that to his first two healthy seasons with the Niners. He was at 5.4 and 4.7. Like, I just feel like a lot of the reason he was the RB1, where his points were largely based off volume rather than like actually true success. He's on the wrong side of 30, and none of that is enough to knock him very far down to me, but it is enough for me to worry about him a little bit, especially because the Niners are bringing in Mike Evans. They bring in Christian Kirk. George Kittle's going to be coming back at some point. And like, I think they don't want to, I think it almost became a thing where they had to rely on CMC that much. And he is so good that I think he got away with it, but I don't think that's the plan going forward for a 30-year-old running back. I don't think you want him to touch the ball 400 times again, necessarily. So that's why I have him down here at four. I like the other three guys ahead of him a little bit better. Obviously, he's CMC. He could be the RB1. I do. This is not the topic really, but a question for you:
Okay.
CMC Hall of Famer
Yeah.
or
Yes.
fantasy Hall of Famer?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Really? I just okay. I don't
Yeah.
know. Feel like he was hurt a lot. I
Yeah.
don't
Did you see what he was doing when he wasn't hurt?
sure. I mean, 1,400 yards once, 1,200, 11, 13 once. I don't know. It's not crazy numbers, man.
I don't know, dude. He's got
I mean, with the
it's the
receiving,
receiving work.
yeah, that's true. I mean, 2019, he's got a thousand. That's pretty special. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just that got brought up to me and I couldn't decide, so I wanted to see what you said.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't joined the Niners, it would have been maybe an iffy trajectory. Sad days in Carolina. Um, but yeah, I think so. I think that if you're a or if you're a running back with 5 years over 100 targets, and produce at the level that he's produced at, it really depends on how his career ends. But I think he's on that trajectory big time. If he can put another season similar to what he did last year or like any of his full seasons, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're really saying. If he can
Mhm.
play a full season, he's going to be a top three running back. It's just a question of if he can do that. He's failed to do that numerous times. And like you're saying, Saquon, I couldn't quite get it done after getting absolutely smothered in his first year with Philly. But I've got CMC at three.
Okay.
So, and
So
my,
we
yeah,
probably flipped three and four.
I believe so. But my only notes for CMC are we get it, bro. Football is your thing. So,
Fair
I
enough.
think, yeah, there's definitely some wide receivers hopefully nipping at some of that workload. Need me
Yeah.
13 to go all the way to the moon. What is his number now? Like
Uh,
number five,
mm,
me five, whatever.
weird. Yeah. So I assume you have Saquon Barkley here at four then.
At number one? No, yeah, I do. I do have
Okay.
Barkley, and you have a three?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's Barkley. Yay. I think that, yeah, you mentioned that he took a step back due to having 345 carries and a lot of passing game work in
Hmm.
2024. So there was a step down. I think the most notable step down for fantasy people here was going from 15 touchdowns to nine
Hmm.
total. And I do see bounce back in the touchdown scoring coming. I do think that they've failed to really utilize him as a pass catcher. Um, in Philadelphia, he has had the same efficiency, the same ability in that area that he always carried when he was with New York. And I think there's going to be opportunity for a little bit of a transition towards him as more of a receiving threat as AJ Brown's target share gets divvied out and Devonta Smith's uh, unveiling continues to progress. But honestly, I mean, it's Saquon. He's 29 years old. He's kind
Hmm.
of getting to the point where it could start to fall off. But he had the 4 yards per carry last year, not the best of his career, but it's definitely respectable.
Yeah.
And I think he's got plenty going his way. And, you know, he's got Tank Bigsby to contend with. I don't think that that's going to be a major issue for him. Obviously, Carson Steele being on this team is really going to mess him up. But if he can weather that, I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be closer to the 300 touch
Yeah.
game, and I think that this team needs to balance itself out a little bit better. So new OC, right? Sean Minion coming
Yep.
in from Green Bay. I think there
Hmm.
is going to be a bit of a reality check, a bit of a more firm hand on some of the Hurts. Um, play style, and I do
Hmm.
think it will benefit Barkley. I think this team needs something stable, and he was in that Super Bowl run. Definitely a stabilizing presence that I think they need to activate. So
Yeah,
go for
I,
it.
I'm with you. Like you said, he fell from RB2 to RB14, 15 in points per game last season. But I think we see a bounce back from Barkley, which is why I have him above CMC.
Gotcha.
I just see a little bit of CMC dipping and a little bit of Barkley going back up. Sean Mannion, like you said, comes over from Green Bay. We know they like to run the ball. And they're clearly going to build that offense out from around Saquon Barkley and then develop the passing game off the play action, off of using their best player and using him also in the passing game. I agree with you. There's no clear options behind him either. So yeah, I just see a rejuvenated offense, a better Eagles team, probably in my opinion. Weirdly, I keep saying that. I just see that. I know they lost AJ Brown, but it just feels like it's going to be more cohesive. And as with Barkley being the focal point once again and putting him in better situations. So that's why I got him at three. So I'm really intrigued. I knew this it was going to come down to these two guys. I really want to know what order you have these next two guys in.
I don't want to say. Is it okay just to not
I can,
say?
yeah, I can
Uh,
go.
I feel like I've changed it 5 times. I swear to you, I think Gibbs is going to have a better season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I don't know why. So I'm lying to myself and I put Bijan number one,
Okay.
but I really think that I have Bijan number two.
Gotcha. So I do have Gibbs number two, and I have Bijan
Okay.
number one. And this is the thing. It's a 1A, 1B conversation. Both these guys are going to be in contention, in my opinion, for RB1 overall, not just on your team. No, like they're going to be fighting for that RB1 spot. So Gibbs was tremendous last season, 21.6 points per game, third in points per game overall. My issue is everybody freaking out over the fact that David Montgomery is gone? and I get that, but like how much different is it really going to be? Gibbs had 243 attempts to Montgomery's 158. He had 94 targets to Montgomery's 24. He had 64% of the snaps compared to Montgomery's 35. Like how much really is it going to get different for a guy that's 202 pounds currently? Is it going to be is he going to get over 300 attempts? Is he going to get over 100 targets? Like maybe,
Yes.
possibly. But Pacheco comes in
Yes.
to clearly play the same role as Montgomery. Obviously, a way less hyped version of that, and not going to be as relied on. I don't know. Like, first of all, he's already the RB3, so I think he can be the RB1. I just don't see it getting like that much tremendously different. And like maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm missing something, but I just think he'll be like, okay, he had 243 attempts. He gets 260, 270, 94 targets. He gets 105, 110. Like that could lead to a way crazier season, but last year was already crazy. So people acting like it's going to be out of this world different. I guess I just am skeptical. Um, and I guess like
Oh.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's just be real. Like these guys were separated by 5 fantasy points total
Yeah.
the season, right?
Hmm.
So it's like it is a toss up. I don't factor so obviously right. It's the same conversation in two different versions, right? You got
Yeah.
David Montgomery and you got Tyler Algier leaving,
Yeah.
and you've got Brian Robinson, coming to join
Uh-huh.
Bijan,
Yeah.
and you got Isaiah Pacheco coming to join. So it's like it's not a ghost town behind
Yeah.
them necessarily. It's guys who have been, the RB1 for a team, maybe not the best rushing offenses, but guys who can play football are on their football teams with them. It's not like, Jones and
Hmm.
and Javante. It's a little different. They have support. But for me, like Bijan is playing with the Tua Penix thing, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got Gibbs, who still
Hmm.
has Goff, still has the same coaching staff, still has Brown, Amon Ra, that is. And so Atlanta enters a little bit of a confusing reorganization of the
Hmm.
offense and the coaching staff in general. And while it's easy to point to Bijan and say, like, obviously, don't fuck this part up. That's like the thing that they always do. Like
Yeah.
they always force stuff. They always, try to make their own stank on something. And a lot of times the better players, the elite players suffer in these situations. So when you're looking at this offense, I don't know. I just see that Gibbs can take another step. And I do think that this Falcons team could take a year kind of pulled over on the side of the road for Bijan. Top five
See,
easy, but I think Gibbs is kind of locked in to repeat exactly what he did.
I kind of do. I'm completely agree with you that the Falcons are going to be worse than the Lions. But my whole thing, and maybe I'm just putting too much faith in Kevin Stefanski, but if we take out the last two bad years where Nick Chubb got hurt with the Browns, we look at the Browns from 2023. They ranked 23rd in attempts. That was a weird year, but 12th in yards, 14th in touchdowns. But the year before that, they were fifth in attempts, sixth in yards, sixth in touchdowns. The year before that, they were ninth, fourth, seventh. The year before that, they were fourth, third, third. And now we're going to give that man Bijan Robinson with the team that was ranked the 10th best run blocking line according to PFF. And I know a lot of people that think they were way better than that, at least what you read online, and they're bringing back mostly that same offensive line. Like we've seen Kevin Stefanski take teams with terrible quarterbacks and have a dominant running game and still not a very good team overall. But now you're giving him like as much as I love Nick Chubb, don't get it twisted, he's not Bijan Robinson. Like
Ooh.
so you give Bijan Robinson and Kevin Stefanski, that seems like a marriage made in heaven. Like, and it's not like you said, okay, Brian Robinson comes in, he's not taking passes away from Bijan Robinson. I can tell you
Oh.
that damn much. Granted, neither is Pacheco, taking those away from Gibbs. So I
True
think
that.
you're right. I think this is easily, if Gibbs ends up over Bijan Robinson, I would not be surprised. But for me, I do see the chance for Bijan himself to take a step forward points wise, but not the Falcons necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously the Lions have an easier schedule. And that's going to play into Gibbs scoring a lot of points as well. I think both these guys are going to go nuclear this year. And I guess just my love for Bijan Robinson will never waver, you know? So when it came to like what's almost a tie, I just got to go back to Mr. Bijan.
Okay, yeah, I give you that. I personally hope it's Bijan because that's what I need, man, for the belt.
Yeah, you do.
I need it, man. I need something to happen there. So
Fair enough.
I have to always be right about this Bijan thing.
Fair enough. I do think Bijan and Gibbs are in a tier of their own compared to the rest of these guys for this next upcoming year, for what it's worth. But all right. Well, there you have it. That was a fun one. So
Yep.
next week we will be back with the AFC running back rooms. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
Good luck, Chuba.